Hey, thanks for joining us on the Daily Drive. My name is Breaux, and we have been looking at some people from the pages of the Bible who just modeled great character. The kind of traits in a person where you say, I may not be able to give you a definition of courage or a definition of integrity or honesty, confidence or faithfulness, but I know it when I see it. And she or he is, they're sitting right over there. This week we've been looking at a guy named Nehemiah, who takes on the task of rebuilding the walls of a desolate Jerusalem. It's a huge project, but he has a huge passion, and he's got a huge God. And so he leans into God for help, and he leads the people to accomplish something that most said would never, ever happen. We've been highlighting some of the leadership traits all week long, and yesterday we saw that great leaders don't just point and direct. They actually roll up their sleeves and work alongside of people. They encourage, they delegate, and they appreciate people. And as a result, they bring out the best in the team. Nehemiah's team, yes, his team, accomplishes something in 52 days that most said would never be done because everybody did it together. You know, we're better together. In fact, that's God's design, especially God's design for his church. I like what it says in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 10. God has given gifts to each of you from his great variety of spiritual gifts. Manage them well so that God's generosity can flow through you. God has given gifts to each of you. We are all supernaturally empowered teammates with our own God-given uniqueness, and when we sit it out, the team or the world really suffers. But when you and I use our gifts and we allow God's generosity to flow through us, we stand back and say, man, I think I was made for this. And the church flourishes and the world takes notice of the goodness of God. Now, I uniquely get to be a part of several awesome churches, including LakePoint. And one of the things I love about what's going on is that we're all doing it together. I get to see so many people who are using their unique gifts and their unique personality and their unique story to really make a difference in the lives of other people. There's not like a group of pastors or staff members doing all the work. It's all of us. It's the thousands of volunteers. It's the people that lead groups. It's those who walk alongside hurting people. It's the extreme generosity that so many show. It's the baby rockers. It's the recovery sponsors. It's the praying grandmas. It's the parking teams, the food bank workers. It's the artists, designers, and teachers, and administrators, and videographers, and production people, and musicians, and greeters, and coffee brewers, and mentors, and landscapers, and cleaning crew. I mean, everybody. And when everybody is involved, linking arms for something that matters, it's pretty amazing what God can do. Nehemiah's team accomplishes something in 52 days that everyone said couldn't be done. And so Nehemiah writes this in chapter 6. When our enemies and the surrounding nations heard about it, they were frightened and humiliated. They realized this work had been done with the help of our God. They realized that for a bunch of people to accomplish something like that, God had to be in the middle of it. And when we come together in unity, letting God use our uniqueness, he shows up in the middle of it. And the world sees it and takes notice of the goodness of God, which is another thing that impresses me about Nehemiah and all great leaders for that matter. They deflect the credit to God. They deflect the credit to God. They know that they're just an ordinary man, ordinary woman who God used to flow through them. And that only God could pull off anything that's truly good and lasting. In other words, they never lose that humility. In his famous leadership book, Good to Great, Jim Collins revealed research that lists the top qualities of companies that went from like good to great. You know what the number one trait of those successful secular companies was? Humility. Humility. Number one. He followed up that research with a research project called How the Mighty Fall, companies that went from good to non-existent. You know what the number one contributor was? Yeah, pride. Or as he called it, the hubris of success. I love it when research backs up what God's been telling us forever. So let's just stay humble. If we will walk with the one who is wiser, smarter, better, and stronger than us, our lives will flourish. And God will do some pretty cool things through us that will make people stand back and go, only God could pull that off. Nehemiah knew that. Nehemiah lived that. So let's you and me walk that way today. Let's live dependently and deflect all the credit to our great God. And we'll wrap this up tomorrow. Hope you have a great day.